point, and then you can respond. Let me finish the point.
I've got to say, Clementine, as someone who doesn't like being interrupted, you interrupt.
Why is it that you won't let me finish the point?
I got a text message from your producer, Piers, telling me to interrupt if I disagreed with anyone.
Yeah.
So take it up with them.
No, but I think that what's changed since that text message is you've made a point of objecting to being interrupted. So
in this video, Andrew Wilson joins the panel on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Andrew Wilson debates some feminist chick about male and female roles. With that, let's watch Andrew Wilson, with an assist from his wife, destroy the easiest of opponents, a feminist.
The facts back that up. There is no study that suggests
There's
that women
no
who
facts. Listen, lady,
raise
there are
children
no
who are
facts
less happy.
on
That is not true.
There are no facts on planet Earth that back up that single mother households have better outcomes. That's one. Two, that outsourcing your... Hang on. Let me finish. Lady, if you outsource the raising of your children, you're already making yourself a single mother, just so you know. Here's what's going on. Just so that you understand.
Are you a single father because your wife raises your children for you?
Lady.
Excuse me, don't call me lady.
Can you let me finish? Can anybody finish a point? Or
I don't know. Do you have a point?
Are only you allowed to? I'm trying to make one. So
you don't seem to be making a point, Andrew.
If you outsource your children's raising to strangers, answer Rachel's question and tell her how that makes more sense than having the child raised by their own biological mother. Actually answer.
Well, in my case, it makes more sense because I need to make money to pay my bills to raise my child. But in many other families, it makes...
What if you depended on your husband's income?
Do you see the problem of how we ended up here?
Now it's my turn to finish. But actually, again, if you knew what you were talking about, if you actually read anything about the data on these things rather than just reaching into your gut for a feeling that feels true to you.
Let's go over the data. Show me the data that shows that if you outsource childcare,
there was a father in the household.
Let me bring Emily in because Emily's been hang on.
There is no statistical data to support the fact that children raised by mothers who work are less happy than children raised by mothers who stay at home.
Yes, there is. There's tons of data.
I would never try and stop Rachel.
There's so much overwhelming data.
That's her choice. That's her choice to do that.
There is so much overwhelming data.
Because that's her choice.
All right, let me bring Emily in.
Like I said, the easiest opponent. I did not hear what they were talking about prior to where we just started the clip. But first of all, it is undisputable, and there are mountains of evidence that children fare exponentially better in a two-parent household than a one-parent home. So there's that. Maybe one of the funniest things that was said is this lady saying, you don't read anything and you don't have the facts. You just have emotion. Okay. Yeah. He's the side that's arguing out of emotion. Now, I've not read data or looked into it. The outcomes for children that are raised by their biological mother versus a nanny or caretaker or something like that, having the child care outsourced, as Andrew and his wife put it. But I would bet every possession I have, just using, again, something this lady claims that Andrew's not using, but she's not using, which is logic, that a biological mother raising their child is the optimal person to be raising that child. Why would you even go down the road of arguing that the child would be better off being raised by someone else? I said at the beginning, these are the easiest opponents because they're fighting a battle they can't win. The data's in, and she's just wrong on this point. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Let me bring Emily in.
Piers knows that.
Emily was trying to say something.
You don't want your daughters and your nieces being forced to stay at home to raise families.
I don't want my kids to be forced to do anything. No, Emily, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I'm not going to argue data with either of you guys. I'm sure you know more than me, but I can say that my father is my hero and the most important person in my life. And if I didn't have him and he wasn't in the household, I don't know where I would be today. And my girlfriends who were raised without fathers in the household, I do see them struggle in different ways when it comes to dating and all these different things. And it's funny because it's like they do make a point. Like if there was a father in the household supporting you, I think a lot of these issues wouldn't be what they are. So I think there's points to both of these things.
Okay, let me ask Andrew.
But supporting in what way?
Is your name Andrew? Anyway, go ahead, Piers.
Yeah, well, Andrew, I was going to ask Andrew, when Rachel said that she does all domestic chores, is there anything you do? I mean, do you put the bins out? Do you the trash out? I mean, what do you do anything?
I don't do shit. That's what I got a wife
Maybe a
for.
little yard work.
But not only that,
if something
but
breaks,
here, but
or
here,
there's
yeah.
yard work. That's about it.
Yeah, cars need repair, something like that. But I'm not going to do household chores. That's what I got married for. I don't want to do household chores. Not only that, on top of that, let's just point a couple things out. She's absolutely wrong. Here's what the stats actually say. That if a child is raised in a two-parent household, they're going to have way better outcomes. And if they have a present mother who's more present with them, they're going to have way better outcomes. Every single data point backs this up. The outsourcing of children to public school, especially for 8 hours a day, is absurd. Stop. Let me finish the point. Let me finish the point, and then you can respond. Let me finish the point.
I've got to say, Clementine, as someone who doesn't like being interrupted, you interrupt
Why is it
a
that you
lot.
won't let me finish the point?
I got a
Let me
text
finish the
message from your
point.
producer, Piers, telling me to interrupt if I disagreed with anyone.
Yeah.
So take it
Can
up
you-
with
Okay,
them.
no, but I
Can
think
you
that,
at
I
least
think
let
that
me finish the
what's
point?
changed since that text message is you've made a point of objecting to being interrupted. So I don't think you can
Yeah,
do
but-
that.
And yet I keep
And
being
then keep
interrupted,
interrupting.
Piers, so
So
that's just the state of play
Why don't
right
you
now.
practice what you
I keep being
preach and
interrupted.
don't interrupt Andrew
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
when he's trying to finish his point.
Yeah, so look, I've just finished the point.
Would he make
All
a
the-
point? He hasn't made one yet.
I just did. I made multiple points. All the data points
Well,
are
he's made
against
the
you on
point
this.
that he doesn't respect his
You're
wife
still not,
because he doesn't.
lady.
He
You still
married a
can't
wife
stop
because
talking.
he didn't want
You
to do
still
anything
can't
for
stop
himself.
talking, lady. This is why it should say the 19th under that shirt. You cannot even be quiet long enough to hear a counterpoint. Here's the counterpoints. The data you're citing, you don't have any when it comes to outcomes for children, when it comes to outsourcing their raising.
Incorrect.
None.
Incorrect.
No. Show me any that shows that you sending your
So
kids outsourcing.
which data are you
Would
citing?
you stop so that I can
Where's
finish
it?
the
Which,
question?
no, tell me.
I'm trying to at least
cite the
finish the
data.
Tell
question.
you.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. One more time. All data points to the fact that if you outsource the
incorrect.
raising of your children,
How is this woman a diehard feminist and she's this ridiculous with her facts? Of all the things that you could argue on this subject, she's going to look in the camera and say the data is not definitive that two-parent households have better outcomes for children than single-parent households, or that mothers who stay home with their children have better outcomes than mothers that outsource childcare. Why would you die on that hill? You're just wrong. Again, I know I've said this already, but she talked about him getting emotional earlier. She's literally one of the most emotional guests I've seen in a long time. She can't let him talk for what, 5, maybe 10 seconds before she interrupts because her impulse control is gone, because her emotions just take over. And earlier when they were talking about Andrew's roles in the home and chores and blah, 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 first of all, that's between him and his wife. If that works for them, that's cool. But this dumb lady says, I don't want to be forced to stay home. No one's forcing you to do anything. I think you could argue a moral obligation to it. And I'm obviously not a woman, but I would think, I don't know for sure, but I would think a natural motherly instinct overcomes most mothers to want to stay at home with their babies. I also wonder if this chick came from a single parent home. And I'm not saying that to cast aspersions, but something people leave out of all of this stuff is think about how high the rate of single parent homes is in this country. Every single child that grows up in a single parent home, with maybe very, very, very few exceptions, has never seen a healthy relationship modeled for them. The people with two parent homes have seen that. They've probably seen the ups and downs. They've seen arguments and they've seen the getting through that stuff. They've seen all of it. And I'm not saying it's any child's fault, but don't you feel like kids are getting more and more bold and just crazier and crazier these days and out of control? And I know it sounds like an old man saying that, but it's just different than when I was a kid. If they asked us to sit quiet in class, we would. We wouldn't, punch the teacher in the face and bring guns to class. It's crazy some of the stuff you'll see online. But I think a lot of that is a lack of direction. And I am a firm believer that starts in the home, and not having two parents at home is a big contributor to the, for lack of a better word, unruliness of a lot of kids these days. Anyway, let's wrap it up.
You can't
especially
just
when they're
stand there
young.
and say all data. You actually have to cite it.
Cite
That's not
any
true.
data
All
that
does
shows.
not say that.
Cite any data ever that shows that you outsourcing the care of your child is good for the child. Any. Yeah, that's
Stephanie
right.
Coontz.
Nothing. You got Stephanie Coontz doesn't say that. You're lying through your
You do
teeth.
you even know who Stephanie Coontz is?
Yes, you mean the
Nobody
feminist
cares
writer?
who Stephanie Coontz is.
The feminist
I have
writer,
data.
Stephanie
You
Coontz?
don't. You see. You clearly don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't.
I can tell you.
You're not even interested. You're not even interested enough in the topic.
I'm sorry.
You're not even
I'm sorry.
interested enough to
I'm
respect
sorry.
the
Who's
topic
Stephanie
enough.
Coontz? Let's make sure we
that
got it right.
you-
Who's Stephanie Coontz?
Stephanie Coontz is an historian, a
historian.
world-renowned historian into marriage and the structure
And
of the
isn't a
American
feminist,
family.
right? Isn't a feminist? I just want to make sure we're clear.
I have no idea if she's a feminist or not. I know that she's
Okay,
an
well,
historian.
then why would you try to make a refutation about what I'm saying? Clearly, you don't know enough about the topic. Right? It's silly.
Ugh, I'm glad we're done with her. But we want to hear from you. What did you guys think about this debate about mothers, single parenthood, male and female roles in the home? Let us know what you think in the comments. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you in the next one.